Hello, everyone. My name is Sandip, and I'm a principal security architect with SAP Americas. And for those of you who do not know, SAP is mainly enterprise and business software applications, and our flagship products are S4 HANA, Ariba, Concur, and we have 24 other products in the business application suite. But today I'm here to talk about role of AI in DevSecOps. Now, how AI can be used in DevSecOps and how it can help, right, improving the way we do the builds right now and deployments. So here is the outlook or the agenda. So initially, I will talk briefly about AI and DevSecOps, which I'm sure all of you know, but I will just try to recap very high level. That way, we get our feet wet with the topic, and we are on the same level field, the same playing field. Then, what's wrong with the DevSecOps, right? Why we need to use AI? I mean, what can AI do for us? And then the role of AI and some tools. And we will also, at the end, we will also talk about advantages or benefits of having AI with us in this journey, as well as like every coin, AI has also has some downsides, and what are those? And is there any ROI on the investments that we are making on AI at this stage? So with that, let's get the ball rolling. So what is AI, right? And I mean, all of us know these. Basically, we want machine to act like us, basically, right, and do our chores. I mean, inherently, people are lazy, and we want someone else to do our task. So that's what we are trying to do with AI. And it's not that we started doing this year or two ago. We have been trying this since almost 90 years now, since mid 30s. And the first paper actually was published on AI in 1952. So it has a long history. The term AI was actually coined back in 56. So it has long history, as you can see here. I mean, I'm not going to read every line here, but the point here is we got a lot of steam, right, after the launch of ChatGPT in 2022. But actually, first chatbot was introduced in 1961, Eliza. So what took us so long, right? Why didn't gain steam or the speed or the mainstream use cases until now? And the reason is very simple, right? Because we learned, like we people learn from experiences. AI needs data to be trained, right? And for AI data, we did not have data until 10, 15 years ago. That was after we have Google and Facebook and all those social media applications, right, where we started putting down, hey, I'm going to take shower or I'm going to go on vacation. That's where we have so much of what we call OSINT data right out there, and it is what eventually used to train these AI based tools. So that was the number one factor that why these AI based tools gained the momentum in last 7 to 10 years. Other thing was the CPU power itself, right? I mean, if you look at the ML algorithms, right, they also need a lot of CPU power, the horsepower. And if you go into the deep learning, which are multiple layers of ML, right, like supervised learning, and like it goes like on and on, right, like two or three layers to make it a deep learning. And at that point we need lots of horsepower. And in 80s we ran like what, xt286 with 10 gig of 10 megabytes of RAM hard disk actually, which was not doable, right? So we did not have the horsepower to do that until last 10 years. And I'm sure it will gain even more speed once we have quantum computing available in mainstream. But it will take some time. But the point is, those two factors, the data and the horsepower, were available in last 10 years. And it is why we gain more speed right now of deploying all these tools in every field, including DevSecOps, right? So I'll quickly recap here the AI can be divided into various subdomains. Now, this is not industry standard or anything. Every textbook, every website has their own way of dividing this. But Wikipedia actually many years, 5 4 5 years ago, had this, and since then Wikipedia also has changed this. But I like the way they did it earlier, so I use these 6 domains. Now, right now, if you go to Google Translator, Google Translator, or even like Alexa or Siri, they used one or two of these domains, right? Like NLP and knowledge representation. Uh, but they are not like full blown all domains. So we call them a weak AI, right? Because they're very narrow. They're focused on one domain or maybe two domains at the most. The strong AI or the general AI, which basically means that AI will work at the same level as us people. And for that, we not only need these 3 domains, we need perception, which is very important because the senses, right? Hearing, seeing, and the social and general intelligence. If we have all the, when we will have all this, it will be a strong AI or AGI, they call it. And we are not there yet, but we are almost 40 to 50% there, because if you look at the autopilot cars like Tesla, right? They know, the car can see, right? If somebody in front of you, it would stop. If someone honks, it would change lane or slow down or whatever, right? So it can hear and see already. It can't smell yet, but we will get there eventually. So when we have all this, it will be AGI, or it will be equivalent to us. And the last is the ASI, uh, the super AI. That means that AI will do more than us, right? It can even dictate us. And it is when, like, I think Stephen Hawking said once, right, that don't try to go to ASI because it will not be good for people. And we have to see if that's the case. First of all, when we get there, and when we do, what happens, right? But that probably will not happen in our life, or at least my lifetime, I should say, right? But we have time, so that is the over. Or and yes, and the last very important point, the machine learning and deep learning, although it's a different subdomain of AI, and I have it at the end here because although they are, although it is a different subdomain, it is used almost anything that we do in any of these domains, right? Like we have to do different, we have to use a different algorithms over and over to get some of the data trained and use them in the models. So I mean, they are not really a separate domain. They are part of all of this technically. So now that we are expert in AI, let's kill the DevSecOps concepts, right? Now, why we need DevSecOps, right? Like again, all of you are probably expert in this area, so I don't have to really go in much detail. But briefly, we have like so many security flaws or vulnerabilities uh, found, right, over the last few years. Compared to 2010, 2023 is like more than 3 times, right? And 18,000 vulnerabilities were found in 2020, and almost 60% of those were like high or above. So that's very scary, right? And we got to stop that. We can't wait until the enemy is at the door and start knocking. We have to catch the enemy right before even it can rise, right? And it's what we do here with this shift left philosophy, because we want to embed the security right in the beginning and have it all the way up to the operation and the deployment and the operations. So it is what the definition basically says here, that we want to integrate, and obviously our goal is to make sure we are secure end to end. So it is why originally it was a secure development lifecycle, but now industry is slowly shifting to secure development and operational, so SDOL instead of SDLC. And and the idea behind is not just shift left, just embed all the way across, right? Obviously we start with shift left, but we want to go all the way to the end. So there are, again, there are in textbooks and website, there are many different way to dissect the process, but I just use these 5 phase which I think we need to touch upon to understand. And again, I'll go very quickly here, but So we will go with the plan, and in the plan stage, two important thing for security is the one is a threat modeling, another is role assignment, right? When we design or develop, when we design the application, we generate the requirements. We want to know, right, who can access, how I mean, how they are going to access, from where they are going to access. So all those like access assignment is very important management. I am part of it in designing, and obviously the threat modeling. We want to model the threat, we want to anticipate, right, what could go wrong with this application, and we want to take the steps to prevent those from happening in the develop stage, right? It's where we do the secure coding, and also take all the inputs, and also take all the input from plan stage to mitigate any potential threat that we see there, right? So that is the other one. Once we develop the secure code, and like I'm sure all of you know, but for the secure coding, there are many labs like Hunter Labs and uh, Secure Warrior, Secure Code Warrior. There are many other labs available to make sure that the developers learn how to code securely. Uh, After that, we have a test phase where we want to test, and mainly the static and dynamic scan we want to do right at the least, and make sure that our software is free of any security flaws. And if we find any, we want to analyze them, fix them if they're there, before we release or deploy the software. Once we deploy the software, we have to test the metal, sort of, to figure out how good the application is in terms of attacks and hacking and all that. So we want to do pen testing, red teaming, and even where we store the, after releasing and before deploying, right, where we store the software, that is also very important, because we want to make sure that is the repo is secure, like Artifactory or GitHub or wherever we choose to store, right, the code. So we have to secure that too. And the operations, right, last but not the least, we know it's one of the ignored task in the in the cycle in SDOL, and it is why we want to have the emphasis on that. And we want to we want to monitor, we want to capture the logs, we want to detect anything unusual, and we want to respond to it, right, if we need to. So basically, if you look at here on the right, this is the DevSecOps cycle, and the security we want to integrate with each stage uh, of DevSecOps. So what are the challenges, right? Now we know this design defense in depth concept, and obviously we don't have time to go through each and every layer here. But if you look at the couple layers which are of interest to us, the AppSec as well as the data security, are the two main things, right, that we would worry about right now. And even those, right, there are so many tools and applications to protect these two layers. And just imagine how much data we would generate from this. And if it's a big organization, right, like SAP, for example, where we have like thousands of VMs, right? I mean, how much data and like how many applications, how much code runs, and so it's practically, even right now, although we have these state of the art SIEM tools, it's practically impossible, right? Because we need people, engineers, or the ops team to make sure that they enter the proper baseline, they define everything, they watch, and so we need people, and it's like practically becoming I mean, very hard to manage, right? Difficult to manage all these. Uh, uh, Same thing with the other tools, right? If we have like outdated signature, or signature is not released yet, the tools are not very much uh, useful to us. uh, if we change the industry or the deployment style or anything like that, right, the OSes and all that, we need to re uh, define everything in the tools. So those are another thing. And last but not the least, we have shortage of skilled people like you all, right? So we don't have this kind of people in the industry available right now, in the security industry. So all these things can be handled through proper use of AI. So Let's get into the meat of it, right? The AI, the role of AI in DevSecOps, right? So again, on the right, I have the same diagram, but instead of security, I try to emphasize AI here right now to see how it can be integrated with each of these tabs, right? So, uh, as I said earlier, that threat modeling is one of the important component of planning, and it's where we want to use the AI-based tools, right? The threat modeling tools to see what are the different threat scenarios out there, and generate the threat model and see how we can mitigate or secure the code. So we can do it, right? People can do this too, and we are doing it now. But the advantage here is, number one, it would take less time. It makes the things efficient. So this is the benefit, right? Um, Plus, it can also go like much lot more deeper than what we can think of, right? AI-based tools, and AI-based tools also can provide you the options that how to fix this, right? It's not just, hey, here is the problem, here is the potential problem, and here are the ways you could fix those. So it can go a step further in terms of helping people, and it would save us time, right? The automatic scan and analysis tools, these are again, we need, like, once the code is done, obviously we do the peer review, which is a manual task. But with the AI tool, when we do the static scan and lint and other analysis, right, uh, uh, it can provide the output about what could potentially go wrong, the security flaws, all the vulnerabilities, and how to fix those, and if there are any false positive, and all that can be eliminated with the AI tool easily compared to the traditional tools that we use right now. Analytics part, although it says in the predictive analytics, this is more like related to the testing step of our traditional DevSecOps. And here, basically, whatever the output generated with various tools, right, even at the pen testing level and other tools, right, the advanced tools, we want to make sure that AI tools can analyze, right? When we use the AI-based tools, it can analyze the results and provide you even more guidance on how to mitigate those risks and take the proactive security measures. The continuous, I'm sorry, the continuous uh, more monitoring part, the AI algorithms create a baseline for you, right? So we do not have to define the baseline. So if you change the deployment style or the cloud, the CSP, the cloud service provider, or anything new comes, or you try to deploy the same build pipeline to different industry, you do not have to recreate those baselines and uh, uh, those definitions that you entered in the tools, right? AI tool can learn on its own and generate. So basically, the way it works, like over and over the time, right? It can learn and then develop the model for us to use and detect a deviation from the baseline, right? So that's another thing, and like automate the operations, right? I mean, the ops team has a headache, right, if doing manually, and patch and change management or IR are the easy examples. But even IAM, right, the access, right, like during the operations, people join the team, people leave the team, and you can't keep defining IPs every time. It be manual task is very difficult, right? Although right now we have a geo based and all that, but again, right, if you want to figure out, okay, somebody logging in from India to my application here in Michigan, at like 2 a.m. my time, what's going on, right? At that point, like AI can detect those, like AI can learn those things that, okay, this is out of time, or this is this, the IP, the incoming IP is not in the range. AI can do that. We do not have to define those anything manually. So what we are doing right now is not going to change per se, but we have to define all these things in the tool right now, and we could enter a incorrect IP address or make a mistake. With AI-based tools, we can eliminate all those errors and time, right? So that's another advantage. The automating the operations, like I said, yeah. So and on the right, as you see, we have AI in the center with all the things. So AI powered tools, right? And again, I'm not trying to endorse one tool over the other, or one programming language over the other, or anything like that. I'm not here to like sell anything. Just these are some of the tools I've used historically, and I have done some work in this area. But this doesn't mean that these are the only thing available, or I ask you to use this or anything like that. And obviously, we don't have time now to go through each and every one individually. Yeah, we are already running late. Uh, we don't have time, right? But please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions on any of these tools, and I'll be very happy to talk about it or work with you or provide some more information on any of those tools. These are all like industry standard tools here, and even the libraries, right? These are all standard ones, but this it could be used when you deploy the DevSecOps pipeline and you're trying to build your own pipeline, right? So benefits, we already touched upon it, right? On the way when I was talking AI benefits of you using AI, because like we said, right? It first a number one reason we use AI is to enhance the security, right? Because people make mistakes, things could go wrong, people forget things, and all those things can be easily eliminated with the AI based tools. Because like I said, in AI based AI, right now also we can automate the things, but we have to define right now, and that's where the problem comes, because we need people to do that, we need skilled people to do that, and again people could make mistake, right? So that thing is eliminated, and because of those reasons it also increases the efficiency, right? Because if I have to do one task, right, I would do like 5 10 times a day, I would get bored, I would slow down. That's not the case with the tool, right? It would do iterative things over and over, and it would improve the efficiency, the speed and the accuracy. This we all already talked about, right? The real time. I mean, it does help. Like we have to see, right, the logs and everything. We have to see. Uh, uh, we have to see to secure, and it's what we are trying to do, right? Again, the baseline and the definitions are entered automatically. I mean, are defined automatically with the tool learning through the learning process, and we don't have to do it with our own effort, right? Basically, people don't need to do that. So that would help. And at the end of all this, like we have all this data, right? By these intelligent tools, that we could make the informed decision at any point if people have to intervene at any stage in the pipeline, right? So this does really help having the AI tools with us, and it will definitely improve the security and efficiency of the pipeline. So AI tool is probably will be the mainstream use in next few years. But as I said earlier, like every coin, right, AI has its own downside, right? Because AI tools can be hacked or misused, and there are many attacks which AI basically can be done on AI model. Many attacks can be launched, I should say, on the AI tools and the AI chain. But there are few important ones I'm going to discuss here. One is the evasion attacks, right? So it's also known as adversarial attack, and the goal here is the attacker's goal here would be to provide the deceiving input, right? Or like incorrect input, but at the same time it's not too far from the actual input. So basically it's very close to the actual input, but not actual. I mean, it's still wrong, and try to force the deceiving output. That's the attack style here. um, And this number one and number third one, right? The biased training attack here, the poisoning attacks. This both sounds very close to each other, and they are. But the fundamental difference here is this happens in the AI tool itself, and uh, basically on the model itself, when it's already in the production and being used. While the third one, the poison attack, it's very similar, but it happens on the training data, not the actual tool. So it actually biases the training data, right? You can manipulate the data to basically model to provide the biased output, and it's what people claim and what happened in the elections, right? When one election went one way while everybody was thinking other way. And again, this is all I hear. I don't have any authentic information, but this was just an example. The point here is we could bias data. So I, if you are trying to sell a product, you could bias the data. So when people ask, and it could give bias to one product over other and things like that, right? So those things could happen, and we have to be aware of it and prevent those things happening. And the third one is the information extraction attack. Now, information extraction attack is basically taking your PII, right, from the AI model. So when you work with the AI-based tools, right, like ChatGPT or an AI, and you enter any PII, and if it's stored in there, then attackers would try to get it out. And for that, they use another AI-based tools. It's not that they try to like manually hacking or anything. There are AI-based tools available to extract the information from other tools, right? And this is what happens. Uh, and like it is why it is very important, right? When we use your PII, right, anywhere in the software or the storage, it should be masked or encrypted. And back in the day, like this, about 4 or 5 years ago, when AWS introduced Athena, although I haven't used Athena in like 3 4 years now, but when they introduced, it was it is an ML based tool, basically Athena, and the way it works, that it actually runs through your basically storage media like S3 and other storages, right, in your cloud environment. And it could extract and list all the PII information like SSN, card number, bank account number, anything like that which is not masked or encrypted. If it's in plain text, Athena will extract it for you and list it out and exactly tell you the path where it is. And then your job would be to go and make sure it's hidden, right, like encrypted or mask or anything. So there are tools available to do the attack, extract the information, as well as there are tools available to prevent those things happening. And again, Athena is an example, right? I mean, there are many tools. Azure also has tool available, so it's GCP. So these are the attacks on AI. And when we use AI-based tools, we have to make sure that we at least avoid these three kinds of attacks, if not more. 2 more minutes. So I know I'm running over time, guys. I'll take a couple minutes here. So is there any ROI on AI? And the AI, as you see here, right, the business standard claim that by end of 2023 we will have like 500 billion invested in AI, right? So CISOs are spending millions, billions, literally, right, to get to this AI-based tool and chain in place. So is it a real deal, right, or it's just a bandwagon and everybody said, okay, let's get into it because other one is going. So right now there is no real return, right, on this investment for sure. At least with respect to the amount that we are investing, we are nowhere close to get same kind of return on this. But it will eventually, right, in next 5 years we will see more robust uh, output or use cases of AI based tools, and more advanced tools will be available. But right now it's just a money pit for most organizations because uh, it is going I mean, people are investing money and return is very less because we are still in the element, not like infant stage, but maybe a toddler stage. So there is a there is some time to go. So this is all I have. I think I tried to explain what AI was, what is DevSecOps, how we can use AI with DevSecOps, what are the benefits, what could go wrong, and the investment philosophy that we are going through right now.